So, how do these two seemingly rather disjointed points, one about the theory of rationality and one just a general lesson on communication, connect to the issue of globalization and global citizenship that is the purpose of this class and that is really sort of inevitable? As an aside, I just want to mention that a lot of the things we've heard about globalization, the points brought up in my university and even through our readings, kind of puts a negative edge to globalization. There's the possibility of kind of like a homogenization of culture, a potential of trampling on indigenous peoples, and the very obviously inequitable distribution of the benefits of globalization. That being said, and regardless of the kind of qualification on whether or not globalization is a positive or a negative, it's kind of already happening, the box is open. And so how do we move forward from there in order to kind of stymie these problems? And I still do believe that globalization can have a positive effect. I think the two examples that I gave do actually have I don't think it's tenuous, but a link to globalization. The first of which, I think, is a lesson in kind of the importance of having a historical solution in mind. Just because separation of church and state was an appropriate solution to the whole religion versus public domain problem in the States does not mean that this solution would necessarily work, and actually it was a terrible failure in India. One definitely must keep into mind the historical and cultural context when forming these solutions. And a lack of paying attention to that will lead to kind of a globalized, westernized, pro-Western perspective, which definitely just does not lead to a good solution. The second point regarding ego and communication is a lot more straightforward, I think, in its connection. Basically, that in order to foster kind of these complicated types of communications where two people are coming from different backgrounds, it's important to not let your ego get into the way. And this is definitely easier said than done. But I think the first step to solving this problem is to having this issue in mind when dealing with a foreign body. That's how I think those 2 points add up to globalization. And yeah, thanks so much for listening to my presentation. Have a lovely day, y'all.